So welcome to this tutorial, and that's the tutorial that I'll just explain a little bit about how you can be a software developer if you are just a beginner. So first of all, I'll tell you that most of the time people think that software development is just learning the language and learning different syntax and different conditional statement, if else for loop. But exactly what the software development is when you work with a stack. So I have to explain it a little bit. What is a stack? So for example, you say that you know Python language, but in the market this is not like going to be a job description. So when you go out in job market, you will see that Python as a backend developer, Python as a embedded developer, or Python as a data scientist, or Python as a MLOps. So when you hear all of these things, you should like understand that these are the uses of Python language. So a language can be used in many stacks. So stacks are the area where the language is going to be used. So whenever you try to be a software developer, you have to like see which stack you are going to go. For example, there is a web stack, then there is a MLOps, then there's all. I'm talking about particularly for Python. There is also IoT stack. So these are the software areas that you can use Python language, or particularly any language that has its own stack. So for example, Java is being very much used for app development, and it also has been used as a web backend development. So the Java stack is mostly famous for backend development and mobile app development. So in this tutorial, I will just tell you about a little bit about the Python basic concept that you can learn, and you can start working on any stack. So you can work on different stack, but the Python concept are going to be the same. So first of all, you have to understand what stack you are going to be. For example, if you're going to be for in a web stack, then you go for Django, Flask, Fast API. These are the backend libraries that's been used with the help of Python. So as been said, now we move to the tutorial. So what first of all you have to understand what are the data types. So data types is something that you can use to pass on data, or you can iterate data, or you can analyze data. So there are like the most famous data type is the list. So the list is going to be a combination of data, as you can see. So for example, as you can see that this is the list, and if you just print it out, it will just print out what you have typed it there. But for example, if you wanted to choose, you only wanted to print the second element. So these 1 2 3, these are called indices, and it will start from 0 1 2. So although normally we start from 1, but in programming the counting normally start from 0. So if we wanted to print banana, we have to go from 0 1. So we have to give it this syntax, and yep, the banana is going to be print. So this particularly data type is being used when you wanted to like store different category of data, and you can wanted to give this data and wanted to like take a particular part of data and display that and use your logic. Now the second one is called a dictionary. So dictionary is a pair bound value. So first of all, this is going to be the pair, and this is its value. So for the key value pair, so the key brand has the value of 4. So now, like, why do you use that? For example, if you wanted to give out all the information of a car, like what this is a brand and this is a model and this is the year, you can use dictionary, and it has like all the values. So these 8, this is just to show that the key could be a string or could be a number. So as you can see that if you wanted to print out a value, you can use the same syntax as in the list, and you can just in this one you don't like type the name, type the number, just type the key. For example, the model, for the model key, the value is Mustang. So this is the second data type. Now I'm going to go for the conditional statement. So the for loop is basically used when you wanted to run a statement, when you wanted to run a piece of code for a certain amount of time. The basics of that is that, for example, there's going to be the iteration, number of iteration. For example, in this one, this is going to be like 1 2 3 4 5 6. It's going to be run 6 times, and whenever it's going to be run, the statement that's print after that is going to be repeated also 6 times. So you can use this, like you can use a list, and as it there are 6 indices in that, or you can also use a range. So range start from numbers, so it's also from 0 to 5, and in total it's going to be 6 time. The iteration is going to be 6 time, as you can see. So totally it's 6, but as you know that in software programming the numbering start from 0. So for loop is just you want it to continue about a certain statement in a continuous number of time, then you will use the for statement. Now the second one is the if statement. For example, you wanted to say that these for and if statement, these are used to build logic or build algorithms. Or when, for example, if you wanted to implement some kind of automation, then you will use this statement. So if statement is pretty straightforward. You wanted to do that if b is greater than a, then this code statement should be run. You can use any statement, so this is just a demonstration. So for example, in this 200 is greater than 33, so this statement is going to be printed out. Now the third most important part is the function. So why we use function? First of all, function is a piece of code that you just define it once and then you can reuse it again and again. For example, in this one, when you wanted to print some statement, then instead of like writing it again and again, you just define a function with def, and after writing the statement that you wanted to use, you just go and print it the function, and yep, voila, you get that function. Now you can also pass values to the function. For example, this is particularly useful when you wanted a piece of code to be interactive. For example, in this one, you don't know what's going to a value be, so you give it two variable x and y, and you run your logic. In this particular example, the logic is that you just wanted to do addition, and then when you give the values, it is just going to give you the result. Now the last example is a little bit more complicated as compared to the first one. So in that one, we are going to calculate the BMI. So in the BMI is simply the body mass index. Is just the weight of a body and the height of a divided by the height of a body. So what you are going to do is that you're going to take name. For example, the name 1 is YK. Now the name 2 is YK sister. The third YK's brother. Now you make a function. In this, you give the 3 variables: the name, the height, and the weight. And you put out the formula from a BMI, the weight divided by the height. And then you implement the logic that if the BMI is less than 25, you are not overweight. If it's greater than 25, you are overweight. Now as you can see that we have given result 1 variable, the function. So the function could be used again and again, as you have seen that we take the variable result 2 and give it the function with different values, with different variables. So we can reuse the function with different variables, and now it's going to give us the result. So as you can see that the different BMI is being passed, and when you print it out, okay, so you will get the if else statement is going to be run, and you will get this values. So this is all. If you like the video, please like and subscribe, and have a nice day.